на русский, то, пожалуйста, может быть, у кого-то есть простые наушники, любые наушники подходят к этим передатчикам. Вот, может быть, вы можете с кем-то поделиться и просто слушать с одного аппарата на два уха. Первая часть перевода будет последовательной, с китайского на русский, поэтому будет слышно всем. Приятного вечера, спасибо.
Oui. 很高兴这次能够在这个莫斯科进行一次关于中国建筑的演讲。
Здравствуйте, я очень рад присутствовать сегодня здесь на лекции о китайской архитектуре.
这是我第二次来到莫斯科，第一次是2006年，那是有一个中国当代艺术展在莫斯科举办，所以那是我第一次来莫斯科。
Это второй раз, когда я приехал в Москву. Впервые я приехал в Москву в 2006 году для того, чтобы посетить выставку современного искусства.
莫斯科，也就是说原苏联对我来说是非常重要的，因为我学习艺术的过程，也就是说在我的少年时代就是从苏联的艺术开始的。
Россия и Советский Союз для меня очень важны и сыграли большую роль в моем образовании, потому что изначально, когда я только начинал свое образование, именно с советских примеров, на них я учился.
今天是来到莫斯科的第3天，我和我的那个建筑师的朋友们一起，我们参观了这个俄罗斯的先锋派建筑，这个是我们梦寐以求，很早就想一直看的东西。
Сегодня третий день, как я приехал в Москву, этот третий день этого визита, и мы с моими коллегами, архитекторами уже посетили множество различных мест, о которых мы только мечтали увидеть, которые мы мечтали увидеть в России, в Москве.
好了，就前面就讲这么2句话，我们现在开始正式的关于中国建筑新浪潮的介绍。
Сейчас я расскажу вам о явлении новой волны в китайской архитектуре.
这是北京和莫斯科的距离。
Здесь вы видите расстояние между Пекином и Москвой.
关于中国建筑呢，我们想说，现在世界建筑的转折点呢，中国现在已经成为世界建筑的转折点。
Можно сказать, что китайская архитектура сейчас является поворотным моментом в мировой архитектуре.
中国的崛起应该说是世纪之交最重要的社会现象，它改变了世界政治和经济的格局，建筑也不例外，因为建筑在中国国民产值中占1/6。
Сейчас изменения, которые происходят в Китае, имеют свое влияние и на политическую, и на экономическую стороны развития всего мира, и архитектура не является, не находится в стороне от этого процесса, поскольку она является одной из 6 основополагающих составных частей развития Китая.
我们看看《金融时报》在2011年有一篇报道，关于中国建筑投资的。 超过1万亿美元的资金，那房地产的繁荣已经把中国推向世界建筑的头号建筑大国。
В 2011 году в газете Financial Times была опубликована статья, в которой говорилось, что в Китае уже инвестировано более $1 миллиарда в новое строительство, и она стала одной из, самой крупной страной по инвестициям в недвижимость.
这个全球建筑观察也说，到了2020年，中国建筑将占全球建筑业的1/5，这个高于目前的14%。全球建筑观察总监认为，这是建筑业真正的转折点。
К 2020 году в Китае будет 5-я часть строений зданий во всем мире, и в то время как сейчас это 14%, то есть это даже будет выше, чем 14% настоящее.
这是北京的一张俯视的图，我们可以看到有线的部分是老的北京的沿线图，但是北京的在近半个世纪，近60年的规划里面，受到苏联的影响很大。
Здесь вы можете видеть карту Пекина, и то, что вы видите, это здесь можно видеть, что в строении Пекина очень сильно влияние Советского Союза.
上面这张图是北京，说明北京是一个水平的城市。下面这几张图是北京过去700年里面历史的城市的演变图。
Наверху на картине вы можете видеть, насколько Пекин плоский город, если можно так выразиться, город одного уровня. А внизу схемы, как он развивался в течение 700 последних лет.
跟那个莫斯科不同的是，莫斯科是以环状的城市，圆形的，但是北京呢，一直是以方形、正方形的演变开始了。
Различие с Москвой в том, что Москва изначально развивалась как радиальный город, то есть с кольцевой структурой, а Пекин всегда был городом с четкой квадратной структурой.
这是在100年前一个80-90年前一个美国空军飞行员所航拍的北京的城市图。
На этой фотографии Пекин 80-90 лет назад приблизительно.
中间这个部分是紫禁城，就相当于俄罗斯的克里姆林宫。
В центре это дворец императора, то есть примерно то же самое, что Кремль в Москве сейчас.
我们现在看到这张图，能看得出来，北京一直是一个水平的城市。
Мы можем видеть на этой картине, на этой фотографии, что Пекин четко разделен на уровни.
但是现在的北京已经不是这样了。那这是现在的北京的平面图俯瞰图。
Но вот на этой фотографии мы уже видим, на этой схеме мы видим, что Пекин сейчас уже не такой.
但是这个历史的轴线还存在，中轴线。
Но основная ось, вокруг которой развивался Пекин, она до сих пор существует.
中间这个部分是紫禁城最中心的部分。
Главный центральный объект Пекина – это императорский дворец, так называемый Гугун.
这是俯视这个天安门广场，一直和过去的这个轴线相联系的一张图。
Здесь вот выше вы видите этот самый Гугун, запретный город, а перед ним самая крупная в мире площадь Тяньаньмэнь.
这是在上世纪50年代受到苏联影响的中国天安门广场的人民大会堂。
Это здание китайского правительства, построенное в советском стиле в 50-е годы прошлого века.
天安门是保留了中国传统建筑的形式。
Здание на площади Тяньаньмэнь сохранили историческое традиционные китайские формы.
可是，在它的东西两侧都是苏联式的建筑。
Но с западной и с восточной стороны этой площади здания построены в советском стиле.
可以看出，中国和原苏联，也就是和俄罗斯，在建筑方面的联系至少有60年以上的历史。60年的历史，对。
Отсюда мы можем видеть, что сотрудничество Китая и России, то есть предыдущего Советского Союза, уже насчитывают как минимум 60 лет.
那么城市的发展结果是什么样呢？这就是现在的北京，我们所看到的这个每一格是每一天拍的天气的照片连在一起，就是 PM25。我们看到蓝天和受污染的情况。
То, что вы видите, это так называемый результат урбанизации, результат развития Китая. Каждый цвет отображает цвет воздуха в один определенный день. Мы можем увидеть, насколько загрязнен воздух в разные дни.
这张照片是由中国一个记者拍摄的。
Эти фотографии были сделаны журналистами.
我们现在要讲的是在天安门广场的右侧，也就是这个虚线的位置，现在正是在建设中国北京的 CBD。
Сейчас мы будем говорить вот о том, что находится справа от площади Тяньаньмэнь. Вы видите вот здесь с левой стороны красный квадрат, это Тяньаньмэнь и запретный город, а правее это CBD, так называемый бизнес-район в Пекине.
CBD 的野心是什么？就是想建设成世界都市的核心区，就相当于这个纽约的曼哈顿一样。
Изначальная идея постройки этого CBD района была в том, чтобы создать главный центральный экономический центр всей страны наподобие Манхэттена в Нью-Йорке.
我们可以看到右下角那个部分是 CCTV， 就是 Ram Koolhaas 设计的中央电视台。
Мы можем видеть, что справа здание телевизионной станции CCTV, построенная архитектором Рэмом Колхасом.
现在在那儿是一个比较高的楼，可是在未来不到5年内，可能就被中间这个楼所取代。这是在北京最高的楼，有520多米，叫中国尊。中国尊
还没建吧？
还没建，对，正在建。
Сейчас это одно из самых высоких зданий, которые есть в этом районе. Но вот чуть левее вы видели еще таким бледным цветом были гораздо более высокие здания, которые предполагается, что превзойдут по высоте эту башню CCTV.
北京现在的高楼基本上都是外国建筑师设计的，但是中国的野心是最后一座高楼最高的应该是中国自己的建筑师设计的。
Сейчас многие высотные здания в Китае построены с помощью иностранных архитекторов. Однако можно говорить, что в последнее время и самые высокие здания строились все-таки китайцами самими.
我们通过这个文字可以看到 CBD 所产生的这个影响力和世界500强企业和跨国公司要进驻这个地区。
Мы можем видеть, что сейчас очень многие известные и влиятельные компании переходят в этот, устраивают свои офисы в этом районе.
中间那块黑的地方就是中国尊的地基，正在启动。中国尊的那个
здесь вы видите начало строительства вот этого амбициозного будущего здания.
我们看看，这是现在世界上最大的工地。
На данный момент это самое крупное по площади строительство.
周围将有19座高层楼在周围兴建。
Здесь будет построено 19 новых зданий.
中间这个中国尊的中间那个小的公园，相当于美国的中央公园，但是要比那个小得多。
Посередине маленький парк, который вы видите, должен стать аналогом Central Park в Нью-Йорке, но, конечно, гораздо меньше его по размеру.
右边第一个楼是已经盖起来的，右边第一个是已经盖好了。
Первое здание справа сейчас уже построено.
这是要讲讲中国建筑的新的浪潮第一浪应该说从 Ram Koolhaas 开始。
Говоря о китайской новой волне, нужно, наверное, отметить, что начало ее было заложено именно Рэмом Колхасом.
因为在 CCTV 中标之前的国际中标基本上是没有100%的，在这之前只有那个国家大剧院，法国人设计的国家大剧院。
Можно говорить, что это было здание CCTV было первым зданием, которое на 100% было построено, спроектировано иностранцем. До этого был только Китайский центральный театр оперы и балета, но он тоже был не полностью. То есть вот это первый полностью иностранный проект.
这是在 CBD 地区最早建设起来的文化建筑里面最有影响力的，但是它同时带来很多争议。
Этот проект был первым таким с точки зрения искусства выдающимся проектом в этом районе, но он также стал предметом больших споров.
这是从中央台 中央 CCTV 那个中央台上面一个圆洞往下看我觉得这个镜头就像电影里的未来世界一样。
Это снимок с крыши этого здания, и мне кажется, что он очень похож на какой-то снимок из будущего.
中央台内部的照片很少在国际媒体披露，那么这次我们可以看到几张内部的情况是怎么样的。
Теперь мы давайте посмотрим, как там внутри этого здания.
这是咖啡厅。
Это кафе местное.
这是中央台建完之后，它的南边的工地仍然是大坑，再有很多建筑要正在建设。
Сейчас рядом с зданием CCTV проходит очень много строек, потому что строится очень много новых зданий.
中间这个像叶子形状，这是那个Roman Foster 设计的一个高层。
Здание в середине, в центре, это здание, которое будет спроектировано Романом Фостером.
那么CBD 的中央地区的公共空间也是非常庞大，有23万平米。
Очень широкое пространство между этими зданиями. Есть там
这是未来的
220 тысяч квадратных метров.
这是由英国一家公司中标的关于这个中央公园的中间这个广场公园的一个设计。
Это предварительный дизайн парка, который будет построен в этом районе.
这是关于各个摩天楼的比较图。
Здесь сравниваются высоты разных небоскребов в мире.
那么这个楼的造型来自中国古代3000年前的文物，一个叫尊的形状，从这演变过来的。
Этот дизайн этого здания происходит от древнего китайского предмета, вот, который вы видите справа, и таким образом это сохраняется китайская традиция.
这个有405米高。
Это здание будет 405 метров в высоту.
这个我们讲这个 CBD 最早的开发是从一个50年代的纺织工厂爆破之后建成了一个民间项目，叫建外SOHO。
Начиная с 50-х, несколько лет назад было решено построить целый район обычных, для обычных людей. Он называется Денвай Сохо.
这是一个新的项目，是凤凰传媒中心，在这个 CBD 以外的地区，很近的地区，在朝阳公园。
Это проект называется Phoenix Media Center, и он находится рядом с парком Чаоян.
这是一个电视台，对。
Это телестанция, здание телестанции.
刚才第一张是效果图，这张是正式拍摄的照片建成的。
То, что вы видели только что, это были просто картинки дизайна спроектированные, а вот это уже реальные фотографии.
这是欧马尔设计的 OMA 设计的，在深圳的叫深圳交易所大楼，证券交易所大楼。
Здесь вы видите построенный в Шэньчжэне исследовательский институт. Его архитектор американец OMA.
这个建筑呢，有那个 Miss Van der Rohe， 就是20世纪的艺术建筑巨匠，建筑师的这个影子在里面。
Здесь вы видите здание, которое тоже было...
Miss， 行，可以了，知道了。
Miss Van der Rohe。
这个建筑的气质给深圳带来了，虽然深圳有很多高层的建筑，但是它所的气质还是不一样。
Здания, которые он строит, они хотя и похожи в чем-то на то, что строят китайцы, но дух их все-таки другой.
特别是它的玻璃，这个外立面的这个材料是用的那种自己开发的半透明的材料，黑色的，但是半透明的，
Особенно вот эти материалы, которые он использует для облицовки внешних стен, они хоть и похожи на стекло, но тем не менее они полупрозрачные и специальная его разработка.
关于这个项目的详细的介绍，大家可以看一些资料。因为今天时间非常短，所以不做特别细的介绍。
Потом вы можете поискать материалы об этом проекте самостоятельно. Просто сегодня недостаточно времени, поэтому не могу очень много о нем рассказать.
我们看这张照片是大堂的照片，这个效果就像那个检查人体的那个 X 光看的照片一样，底片一样。
Мы можем видеть, что фотография этого объекта изнутри похожа немножко на рентгеновский снимок человеческого тела.
这是开玩笑，我去参观的时候，我拿了这个牌子，正好是1号牌子 Ram Kurhas。
Это просто шутка. Я сделала себе удостоверение, на котором написала имя Рэма Колхаса.
我们介绍的另外一个项目是杭州的一个梁祝博物馆，一个古代的艺术博物馆。
Сейчас мы с вами переместимся в Ханчжоу, где я вам расскажу о 2 музеях древнего искусства.
这个美术馆是由去年威尼斯建筑双年展的总策展人，德国的基普菲尔德设计的。
Этот музей был сконструирован архитектором
威尼斯建筑双年展 Venice Biennale。
Это я поняла. На биеннале в Венеции, а 那个名字
无所谓了，总策展人。
главным архитектором, главным дизайнером Венецианской биеннале.
这是北京的 T3 航站楼，是由那个 T3 航站楼是由那个英国的福斯特设计的。
Это 3-й терминал аэропорта в Шэньчжэне.
不是深圳，在北京。
в Пекине.
北京对。深圳有一个，这是深圳的，这是深圳的航站楼，是由这个谁的？福克萨斯，意大利的福克萨斯设计的。
Это итальянский архитектор Фуксас спроектировал шэньчжэнский аэропорт.
这个已经快盖好，这是去年1年前拍摄的照片。
Эти фотографии были сделаны в прошлом году, и этот проект скоро будет закончен.
这是美国一家事务所在西安的园艺博览会上设计的景观。
Это американский архитектор спроектировал в Сиане центр искусств.
这是日本的建筑师在天津设计的图书馆，叫 Lecция Новая。
Японский архитектор Лики Ямамото спроектировал в Тяньцзине библиотеку.
这是大家知道，这是那个 Stein Hall 设计的万科中心，是在深圳，在深圳。
В Шэньчжэне Стивен Хор спроектировал 是什么？
深圳万科中心，万科 Center。
万科 Center 万科。
这是杭州，这是中国第一个得普利斯克奖的王树在杭州设计的一个大学的校园。
Это здание Ханчжоуского университета изобразительных искусств, спроектированное китайским архитектором Ван Шу, который был удостоен Прицеровской премии.
这是他设计的宁波博物馆。
Это тоже его работа в Нинбо, музей Нинбо.
这是中国四川的建筑师刘家坤设计的一个高科技的中心。
Это высокотехнологический центр был спроектирован китайским архитектором Лю Дякунем.
他也是中国威尼斯建筑双年展的参展的建筑师。
Он также участвовал в Венецианской биеннале.
这是他在南京设计的一个酒店。
Это отель, гостиница, которую он спроектировал в Нанкине.
这是他为一个地震牺牲的孩子，一个12岁的中学生 设计了一个很小的纪念馆。
Это здание в качестве мемориал одного мальчика 12-летнего, который погиб во время сычуанского землетрясения.
刘家坤他在地震灾区去调查研究之后，发明了再生砖，用地震废墟的材料做成了新的砖，去盖房子。
После Шэньчжэнского землетрясения он нашел вещи, которые не были найдены спасателями, и сделал из них вот такую инсталляцию.
这是他设计了一家石刻艺术博物馆，在四川。
Это один из музеев, которые он спроектировал в Сычуане.
刘家坤设计的园林可以说是在中国现代建筑中比较优秀的设计。
Можно говорить, что дизайн Лю Дякуня – это один из самых известных и популярных в Китае в современном сейчас.
这个大家熟悉，是扎哈蒂的在北京的设计的一个高层的商务办公楼，这个叫望京SOHO。
Это тоже один из районов в Пекине. Называется эта группа зданий Вандин SOHO.
可以说是在中国最大的开发商，速度最快的，叫 SOHO China。这是你看他们已经开始建设到这样一个规模。
Можно говорить, что этот девелопер является самым быстрым в Китае. Вы можете видеть, до какого уровня они уже дошли.
这是中国南京的建筑师张雷设计的住宅，私人住宅。
Это китайский архитектор Джан Мэй спроектировал обычный жилой дом.
张雷曾经在瑞士留学回来。
Он раньше учился в Швейцарии.
我们可以看到他虽然有这个受到西方建筑的影响，但是他用当地的乡土的材料，比如说砖这些来创造这种新形式的中国住宅。
Хотя мы видим, что его творчество получило влияние европейского искусства, но использует он материалы все равно местные и создает такие новые формы, новые, скажем, новые дома для китайцев.
那个屋顶是灰色的，实际上不是瓦，是那个太阳能发电。
На самом деле, вот вы видите, что крыши черные, но это не глиняная черепица, это светоотражательные плиты.
右边这张图是中国的建筑师在西藏的实践，在西藏建造的一个服务设施。
Также он, когда происходили события в Тибете, он также проектировал дома там.
中国那个一直有民族纠纷，关于西藏问题，中国建筑师也援助西藏。可是我认为这个作品是第一次，有现代建筑的这种因素，在西藏建造的很小的房子。
Хотя китайские архитекторы уже давно работают в Тибете и многие дома там построили, но, на мой взгляд, вот именно эти работы, эти здания, это первые примеры какого-то нового архитектурного слова, архитектурного взгляда, представленные в Тибете.
这是朱培在深圳设计的一个展览中心，像一个 UFO 的造型一样。
Это архитектор Джу Фэй представил новый центр в Шэньчжэне.
这是朱培改造的一个北京的四合院，这个四合院的主人是中国艺术家蔡国强。
Это Джу Фэй построил китайский традиционный дом Сыхаюань для достаточно богатого китайского человека.
左下图可以看到这个原来这个四合院非常的破旧，非常的破。
Здесь вы видите, что этот Сэхуян изначально был очень в плохом состоянии, очень.
因为蔡国强很长一段时间在日本生活，所以这个房间里专门设计了茶室，茶室有日本风格的茶室。
Поскольку он какое-то время прожил в Японии, то мы можем видеть здесь влияние японского искусства.
这是他设计的跟奥运会有关的叫数字北京。
Этот проект называется «Цифровой Пекин», он был построен специально к Олимпиаде.
这是我们那个去年威尼斯建筑双年展，是我策划的，但是我希望把艺术的作品用装置的形式呈现，装饰就是 installation。
Это листовка, реклама нашего павильона на Венецианской биеннале. Я был ее дизайнером, и я надеялся с помощью инсталляции выразить, как бы украсить китайский павильон.
这是设计了一个方形的庭院，落在这个威尼斯双年展这个中国馆的园林里面。
Это ряд кубов, квадратных полностью кубов, которые были выставлены перед китайским павильоном на Венецианской биеннале.
上面这些孔都是因为这个建筑师本人王云，他是调查聚落的，聚落你知道吗？聚落就是古老的村庄的遗址，村庄。
再说一遍。
古老的村庄的遗址。
整个一句子再说一遍。
对，遗址叫聚落。
你再说一遍这个整个句子。
这个建筑师他的想法是来自他对聚落的研究。
Изначально идея этих кубов восходила к изучению китайской деревни и отдельно ее особенности, что конкретно не могу сказать.
这个因为时间关系，我就把图片很快的看一下。好，现在我们讲一下，很快的速度讲一下中国在世界，主要在欧洲5年以来介绍中国建筑双年展的状况。这是在 Maxi， 就是扎哈蒂德设计的这个美术馆举办的中国当代建筑展。
Сейчас я вам расскажу очень быстро, поскольку нет времени, расскажу о успехах китайской архитектуры в последние годы.
中国建筑的地图，这是中国建筑的地图。
Это карта китайских строений, китайских зданий.
这是当时会场的这个入口的地方。
Это вход в китайский павильон на одной из архитектурных выставок.
这是马岩松今天等一会儿他要讲的他的一个作品，叫《重庆森林的模型》，这个白色的。
Это произведение архитектора Ма Яньсуна, который сейчас через минуту будет перед вами выступать, он о нем расскажет.
这是展览的会场。
Это само, павильон внутри этой выставки.
入口的地方，这个。
Еще раз вход.
这个装置是都市实践，就是等一会儿孟岩要介绍他的事务所，这是他们当时的一个作品的装置。
Это произведение Мэн Яня, который тоже будет сегодня перед вами выступать. Это здание вроде как общежитие.
这是当地的报纸对这个报道。展览的报道。
Это статья в местной газете о нашем стенде.
这是去年我们在德国举办的中国建筑100的展览。
Это в прошлом году мы в Германии устраивали специальную выставку, посвященную Китаю.
这是一个古老的博物馆，军火库改造的博物馆。
Здесь вы видите это старое бомбоубежище, которое впоследствии стало музеем.
我们希望有一天能在莫斯科举办中国当代建筑展。
Мы надеемся, что в будущем у нас будет возможность устроить подобную выставку в Москве.
到现在为止是5年之内，在这个比利时、意大利、德国、瑞士、列支敦士登、 西班牙，今年在西班牙，明年在法国和英国举办中国建筑展。
У нас уже были подобные выставки в Бельгии, Италии, Лихтенштейне, в этом году в Испании, в следующем году во Франции и Англии. Вот, каждый год мы проводим такие выставки китайской архитектуры.
这是在这个维特拉设计博物馆举办的展览，2010年。
在什么博物馆？
维特拉设计博物馆，维特拉，Waiter啊，怎么说英语？
Значит, в музее Витра организован выставка, которую мы организовывали в этом музее.
这是会场的空间布展，这是布展的。
Это инсталляция.
这是都市实践的项目土楼。
Это основное здание, да? Основное здание.
土楼，福建的一种民间的建筑形式。
Это здание построено в провинции Фудзянь.
开幕式会场。
Это открытие выставки.
画册、海报。
Наш плакат, который мы к этой выставке готовили.
这是在列支敦士登举办展览，这是 MAD 就马岩松的这个作品做的海报。
Этот плакат нарисовал Ма Яньсун.
好，我们最后介绍对不起。后来我们最后介绍一个现在正在上海举办的明日山水城的展览。
Сейчас я расскажу вам о нескольких людях, которые организуют выставку сейчас в Шанхае.
看看我们这个使用的方法是中国传统的园林和现代建筑设计，把它放在一起的一个展览。
Мы используем китайские традиционные исторические мотивы, сочетаем с современными технологиями.
上面和下面这是一张明代的版画，一张园林图的版画。
Вверху и внизу вы видите картину эпохи Мин.
我们看看这个明代的版画是非常的优雅，非常的漂亮，啊。
Мы видим, что она очень изящная и очень красивая.
它反映了中国人的美学。那么这个展览的会场也是用这个版画围在一起，中间都是现代的作品设计。
На выставке мы разместим эту картину по периметру этого павильона, а в центре будут современные произведения.
这个展览最主要的作品是高山流水，就是马岩松和他的事务所发表的作品。等一下他会有详细的介绍。
Основным экспонатом этой выставки является высокая гора и стекающая вода. Это произведение Ма Яньсуна, о котором он сейчас расскажет чуть позже.
这个模型就是高山流水的模型。
Это как раз вот формы высоких гор и стекающих вод.
这是我和另外一个灯光设计师做的装置，叫万里江山图。
Это инсталляция, которую я сделал с дизайнером света. Она называется «Картина гор на 10 000 ли».
它的灵感来自中国古代的绘画。
Ее идея происходит от древней китайской картины.
看看这个中国古代在描绘山水的时候是怎样的一种构图。
Вы можете видеть, какими были горы изображены на древних китайских картинах.
好，我们呢就要结束这个我的演讲，时间过了一点，但是最后有一段话，就是德国新闻社1974年发表了一篇前苏联亚历山大·索尔仁尼琴写给苏联政府的一封信。这封信里说，索尔仁尼琴说，社会一定不要把进步看作理想的东西，永久的进步是胡扯的神话。必须实行的不是不断扩大的经济，而是增长速度为0的经济，是一种稳定的经济。经济增长不仅是不必要的，而且是有破坏性的。
Закончить, я немножко превысила свое время, но закончить я хотел бы с фразой Александра Солженицына, которую он написал 3 марта 1974 года, звучит она примерно так. Люди не должны считать прогресс идеалом. Вечный прогресс – это несуществующий миф. Нужно стремиться к растущей экономике, не к растущей экономике, а к экономической стабильности, то есть к росту экономики, который бы равен был нулю. На самом деле экономический рост не только не нужен, но и деструктивен.
最后一段，索尔仁尼琴说人类的前途，他认为如果要使人类得以拯救，在今后的20-30年中，必须使技术适合于稳定的经济。要做到这一点，现在就必须开始这个过程，立即开始。我觉得我们应该好好思考一下，俄国思想家40年前的论述是否正确。我的演讲完了，谢谢大家。
Он также говорил, что если хотите спасти человечество, то в ближайшие 20 или 30 лет нужно не только создать технологию для стабильного состояния экономики, но мы должны начать этот процесс прямо сейчас. Мое выступление подошло к концу. Спасибо вам большое. Всего доброго.
Hello. My presentation title is Shanshui City. Shanshui means mountains and water. But when you put two words together, it becomes a very typical traditional Chinese culture. Means how humans live with nature. Why we talk about the nature? Because this is the image of modern city. It's actually Shanghai, but it could be Moscow, it could be Beijing, it could be anywhere. It's full of high-rises. High-rises presenting the power and capital in our society. This is a very funny picture I found. On the top is a new high-rise just completed in London called Shard Tower, the tallest building in Europe. The picture below is the tallest building in North Korea. And they look similar. They all have a sharp top pointing the sky, look like old cathedral, right? I think the top picture representing capital, the lower one representing power. This is artwork, a photograph by Cai Guoqiang, a Chinese artist. When he moved to New York, he had this firework in front of Manhattan. I think he's criticizing the Manhattan as the highest achievement of human being in modern history. You can see the Twin Towers was still there. So the question was, is this our future? Is this city full of high-rise is our future? This is my student work. Back 2002, when I was in school, I draw this park floating above all the high-rises. It's called a floating island. It's like architecture can never be built. It looked like a cloud reflecting all the surroundings, and you can put all the urban life in there. It's a horizontal structure and challenging all the vertical skyscrapers. of course, it didn't get built. And 8 years later, not 8 years, actually 4 years later, we won a competition to design this high-rise in Canada. This twisting tower, people call it Marilyn Monroe Tower because the curvature of this building. And this funny cartoon by a local newspaper, it shows how the typical, those boxy building, they're making fun of this funny shape. And this is a picture I was taken last year when 2 towers finished. So you can see the contrast between these 2 towers and the surrounding. The reason we did this was because we're trying to make the high-rise soft. A high-rise can represent in human emotion, nature, instead of becoming memorial of power, just presenting the strength, the height. So that's why we made 2 soft geometry. And every floor has an open balcony around it. And 2 tower has a different shape. So you can call it a twin tower, but it doesn't look like any other twin tower in the world, which is, repeat the same tower again, 2 times. But here we did 2 towers differently. So they look like sister, Marilyn Monroe and her sister. This is some picture of the balconies. When you twist the tower, many balcony can open to the sky. You can have a sunshine to the balcony space. By creating 2 towers, you have 4 lines to generate the urban condition that when you look at the tower from different angle, from different direction, they look different. I found some photos on the internet. Some kids draw in the community, they start to draw the tower. They can very accurate capture the shape of the tower. They look different. Back in China, this is a city called Chongqing in China. It looked like a Manhattan already. And that's exactly the city we're criticizing, full of high-rise, only about efficiency, about height, about capital, but not about the people, not about the nature. So we create this high-rise with a lot of gardens in the sky. And the tower, because every floor has a different shape. So it's kind of a development from the absolute tower in Canada. This tower doesn't have a shape. It doesn't have a perfect geometry. Instead, it looks like a life. It's inspired by some traditional Chinese painting, although I'm not expert about this. But when you look at this painting, trees, mountains, people, architecture, they combine together. So I was thinking, how about we put everything together in the high-rise? So that's the model on the right shows, we make a high-rise, but the high-rise look like it has its own life, not designed by it's not perfect product. So architect is not a god. Here it shows a part of it. You have a garden everywhere. And so we propose to have an elevator stop every 5 floors. It's like a social house in the past. Every 5 floors, you got to stop. You have a garden so people can meet each other at this public space in the sky. From there, they can walk up and down. So we want to create this social space as well. To compare the landscape, also architecture, between the West and East, it's very clear. On the left is a French garden, in which all the trees, it's a purely nature element. They cut the trees. On the right is Chinese garden. Everything is artificially planned. But architecture, buildings, rocks, trees, water, they all carefully put together. You cannot miss any element. So that's when that concept, when that philosophy developed in larger scale, that's city of Beijing. You can see how the nature and artificial combine together in different scale. So all this water system, some mountain hills in the city center, they all artificial planned. Of course, together with all the street, exit, everything. So everything can be mixed. From this example, we can assume that in the future large-scale city, in the high-density city, we could combine the nature and high-rise probably, and the large-scale buildings together as well. There must be a way to do that instead of only making the big buildings. In this case, we did another, we call Sky Village in Taiwan. We have this tower from the last proposal, but we put several of them together and we link them with the Sky Street. Those streets actually are corridors. It's circulation. But when you use this to combine with social life in the sky, it creates a different community. The Sky Bridge, the Sky Street, can connect all the living units together with gardens, swimming pools, commercials in the sky. And this is another example. We did a lot of housing in the beautiful nature site. So we decided to make a building grow out of mountains. They actually continue from the contour lines from the nature and become the towers. So that's how we put tower on site. Every floor has a big terrace, and all the terrace, they look like a continue from the tea field, the terraces from the hill. That's a photo, a recent construction photo. One of this building already finished. Here's a convention center we're working on in Taiwan. It looked like mountains. I actually have all different kind of program in it. It's convention center, hotel, office, apartment, but we don't want to show buildings with identity of functions. They all look same. When they all look same, you will focus on the relationship between them. So you can see we put all this group of buildings to create a lot of different squares, gardens, water ponds, different public space. I think working with a building group is also something from traditional architecture. These some images from inside. This is also another residential, large-scale residential with 4,000 families living in one building. It's the ocean front in South China, a city called Beihai. This is a 800-meter long building, 100-meter tall, with a hose and curvy roof line, and all the ground level is lifted. And the construction finished phase 1. So here you can see the terraces on the roof and ocean front, big holes on the building, so you can allow the sunshine and the wind go through the building. On the top of the building, you have the roof terrace and the tennis court. A museum we built in Erdos, Inner Mongolia. It looked like some random abstract volume landed on the desert. So desert was the original landscape in the area. So I want to keep this modern landscape, but purely made out of stone. So I don't want to put grass, trees, all this urban element in there. And this curvy landscape become very popular public space because it's very interactive to the people. So museum firstly become a public space, an urban space, attract people, and then museum become the second destination. That's image from inside. We chop this volume twice, so we can have a 2 large window allow the sunshine come in. So inside we only have all the public space has a natural light. There's a valley space in the middle where you also have a natural light. It looks like a volcano or something. But also same time look like a future city because we have this circulation bridge in the sky. There's some other skyline in the space. So Shanshui isn't about only mountain and water. In that case, we also talk about ocean, talk about desert. It's about how human can react to the nature. So when you can have a complex emotion towards nature, we could bring all this experience to the urban environment. This is another museum we built. We're going to build in the South China. It's in the ocean. Look like island. So you go to this building through the bridge, and the building become the island. So you can walk on the roof and the waterfront. It just feels like a beach. So the building become the surface will go into the water. Here you can see the surrounding with also mountains with a similar shape and the water. And we also have some openings linked into the interior space. So inside look like a cave. It's so surreal because this museum linked through a bridge to the city. In the city, they will have all the high-rises, very real situation. So I want to make a more surreal experience in this island. Here's another museum called Wood Sculpture Museum, but it's made of metal. And it's in the Harbin, a city in the very north, very cold place. So we have a lot of solid space, a lot of solid surface. Inside, it's very long building. When you cut the building, you have a different space in different section. That's the reality. You can see the funny luxury buildings, residential buildings behind. I think that make the building more surreal. It doesn't talk to the surrounding, but I like that. The building facing north, so it doesn't reflect the sunshine. It's just capture the light from the environment in front of the building. In the same city, we are also building an opera house and a cultural center. It looks like a mountain again, but this time it's opera. It's not only about inside. We want to bring people up to the building, so you can see people can walk on the building facade. There's a ramp can bring people to the top. And we create this artificial lake by the building. There's two buildings, museum, opera and cultural center, and the lake in the middle. That's the opera. There is a small theater facing the lake, and you can open the backstage of the theater, so the stage can open to the nature. The foyer has a lot of nature light again. That's auditorium, all by wood. And we also bring nature light into the auditorium. That's construction site. Look like a amusement park. All these curvy lines. A lot of want to show another project in Europe. It's in Rome, a city like a museum. There's a block here in the quite center of the city where we're going to renovate this. This is existing photo. There's a church made by brick. And the building below is actually a modern building with all concrete column, concrete beam, concrete floor, but also have this ugly facade. And we decide to keep all the structure, but only take off the facade. Because modern building doesn't need a facade, right? You have a column and floor, you can hold a building. Facade become very fake in Rome because all the classic building, they have a wall as a facade, as a structure. But modern building, it doesn't need it. So we basically took off the structure and we insert the new living element, which is this curvy unit into this structure. It feels like a shelf and look like this. And then when you put them into this, so you have a lot of space along the edge, become gardens and balconies. And it becomes interesting when you put this building in this classical street, because this street normally forced by this facade, but this building become blurred in the sense. It doesn't have appearance about style. Right? It doesn't show the modern or some avant-garde look, trying to have a contrast with a classical building. It doesn't trying to be classic building. It's just trying to be showing how people live today in this museum city. So in here we have all the nature gardens in every level. That's a model you've seen from that exhibition. Look like a lot of towers. If you hate the towers, we are going to have them forever. That's the future of cities. So it doesn't make any sense to hate them. I think we should think about how to make them better. So we're trying to bring firstly an overall image to this complex. Second, we're trying to bring human scale in this complex. I think that's two part is missing in the modern towers. So here we have all the link to connect all these towers and bring the bridge, bring the small gardens everywhere in this structure. But overall, we put them all linked together and put a lake in the middle and the shopping mall underneath the water. And we also bring waterfalls into the high-rise, so it becomes part of the water system, water circulation system. That was a conceptual proposal. Later, we developed this idea into something real. So this is a project we're building in a city called Nanjing. It has 500,000 square meter house, hotels, offices, commercial. So again, this underneath this water is a shopping mall actually, and we'll bring this gardens, islands, waterfalls into this urban space. So here, maybe they look like mountains, but there's more than that. You can experience some sort of artificial space with a natural feeling. I want to quickly go through an exhibition we did last month. It was an experimental thing we did. We put all our architecture models in the studio into a courtyard, into this garden. It was dramatic when this model changed the context, because all the models, they're scaled building. And the gardens is a scaled nature. Right? Garden is full of rocks, trees, but they're the elements make you think of a larger world. So when you put two scaled elements together, which is scaled nature, scaled architecture, it becomes more interesting. So here, you can see it just become more interesting than you look at those draft renderings or those models in the gallery. Here we put a residential in this grass. Here, a kindergarten we designed for Japan, where we have a ground level, all the activity room. On second level, there are 3 bubbles. You can have kids and a baby living there, and the bubble reflecting the surroundings. Those models always look more beautiful in the garden. I don't know why. But I'm sure there's something wrong with our context in the city. The last project I'm going to show is it's a very small renovation in Beijing. This image was a part of our project called Beijing 2050. It's something about future, visionary Beijing. You can see there's a floating vehicle in the middle of the image. And what we propose is the silver bubble. It looks nothing related to the traditional buildings, but it provides necessary function to the place. It's a toilet. The idea is to bring all this toilet to those courtyard because they just don't have them. They have to, everybody have to go to the public toilet. And but it's more than toilet, because when they have a toilet, they will stay there. They will, they will have a better condition to live there, and people who live there for generations, they will stay, which is not the case now, because everyone has to move out. And I think without community, those buildings doesn't make sense. but actually, we realized one of those bubbles is a toilet. It's made of stainless steel in a very small courtyard at the corner. And inside, there, above the toilet, there's a stair. You can go up to the roof. So that's inside. Nature light again. This is when we had Olympic Games in Beijing, when everyone talking about new empire, grand buildings, but we decided to do this very tiny toilet. Not a choice, because we had nothing else to do. But I think it's very important to talk about individual in that period. I like this image because the reflection shows the sky, trees, old building, new building, all twisted together, become a very dramatic. It doesn't reflect the surrounding as a real image. It's just become another image, like a dream to me. This is when you look into this courtyard, you don't actually realize it exists, because it's reflect the surrounding. There's a famous saying by an old writer, Chinese writer. He says the beauty of Beijing is about emptiness. The courtyard, the spaces in between buildings, not the building themselves. In which, in those courtyards, you have a nature, you have a life, and people feel happy about their life. So I think that's probably, because I grew up from Beijing, that's maybe something naturally come from my experience, that we must have nature. But in the urban environment, there must be a unique way to plan nature together with architecture, or architecture become part of nature, part of landscape. If the city in the past was about, the faster, stronger buildings, powerful buildings, maybe in the future we should more talk about humanity or harmony, but not only on the functional or functional level or technical level. Should be something more than green architecture, something more than sustainable architecture. We should probably try to make the modern, the future city emotional connected to human being. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for having this opportunity to communicate with our Russian colleague about some of the works. Today I'm going to focus on Urbana's practice. Instead of focusing on individual buildings so much, well, I would rather talk about the practice itself. How architect today can do in the Chinese urban context. Urbana's actually, these are the three partners, me and Liu Xiaodu and Wang Hui. And we always think that Urbana's is more than just a design practice. It is also a think tank. It aims to formulate architecture strategy from the urban environment in general and the ever-changing urban conditions in specific. In order to achieve that, Urbana's now, we have the design part. We have a Beijing office, we have a Shenzhen office, a Hong Kong office. On the other hand, we have a research bureau, a research lab, and a contemporary art gallery. So we do a lot of different things. For example, for the Urbana's Research Bureau formed 3 years ago, we set up an open platform in terms of teaching, publication, workshop, research. We have our own staff. We also have independent researchers working in this team. From the beginning, we start on a lot of things, including the urban village research, the research for creative cities, a lot of the urban problems that we're facing. And furthermore, we do a lot of international workshops, working with universities and other research institutions. So the idea is really for architects to understand the problem, to define the problem better before to start to do projects. So we want to do research first. So Urbana's is going more and more towards a research-led design practice. And plus we have a gallery space involving contemporary art, architecture, graphic design, experimental film, and whatever. So today, the topic is really about a particular office and this close relation to a particular city. So instead of working on a lot of different places, we kind of tend to concentrate on one city. The reason is quite simple. We try to understand more, to research more in order to do better. So the city is called Shenzhen. I don't know how many of you know this place, but we use the term Urbana's at or after Great Leap Forward Shenzhen. The so-called Great Leap Forward is not really the 1950s development started by Chairman Mao. It's really by this guy. Mr. Deng Xiaoping opened up China in 1979, some 30 years ago. So he picked up a point, instead of Beijing, Shanghai, he picked up this very remote area, which is a little fishing village close to Hong Kong. So it's nobody there. So it's actually an experiment. If it fails, it won't affect anybody. So it's a very clever choice. So this is Hong Kong. So this is Shenzhen. It's very close. So the city of Shenzhen expanded within 30-some years, 400 times. Imagine a place which has 30,000 people in 79 grew up to the city of more than 13 million today. It's also a city where people with permanent registration keep a very low number. So most of the people living in Shenzhen, including us, are floating population, are not registered. And the average age in this city is under 30 years old. It's another factor. Imagine 30 million people, average under 30. So we are extremely old guys in Shenzhen. Right? Also another factor, the working class contain a large portion in the city. So a lot of people are not very well educated and are poor. So somebody needs to take care of these people, right? Some images. Shenzhen in 79, Shenzhen today. So it's a crazy place. It's the fastest growing city in entire world. And about 15 years from its inception, another guy came to Shenzhen, whose name is Ram Kuhas, and he wrote, together with a group of students from Harvard University, this book called Great Leap Forward. So he theorizes Shenzhen and this crazy development into words such as city of exacerbated difference and the so-called generic city with no history, no character, nothing, but exist and crazy, right? So after 1995, he came. 5 years later, there came the three other people called urbanists. So what urbanists will do? So we started saying, okay, we want to do some intervention. It's a medical term. But we want to change something. The main thing is to change, transform the role of designers from pure service providers. I really don't believe architects just service providers. We should act as social agents or mediators. And we realize the complexity and uncertainties in the contemporary Chinese urbanism. And we use the term urban intervention. And we act as activism with professionalism, with indigenous wisdom as the basic method. So for the past 13 years, we have been building extensively in the same city again and again. So if you look at this city, you can see it's a linear city, more than 40 kilometers long. So today I'm going to do a big section right through the city, and I will pick up some projects, some big, some very small, to show you what we did and why we do that, to improve the current condition. So if you look at the map, you see this city is so long, so it contains four, and it will contain four, the so-called CBDs, Central Business District. Right? The things to the right are existing, the two, and they're building the two new CBDs to the very west. So starting from the east, the project I'm going to presenting is actually starting from the east, go all the way to the west. Okay, so this is the earliest development. It's called Luohu and Futian. You can see the craziness of this city. So what can we do? There are so many things I've done. So we basically in this area, we use the term urban refill. So we're trying to fix and do minor things to improve. I don't think architect can change the society and can change the city. We don't have that power. But we can improve bit by bit. So what we did, what we decided is in the entire area, we only build parks. That's the only place that we can do. There's no room for new buildings. So we started from small urban parks. Every year, we're building something. For example, like this. You know, Shenzhen was a hilly place. It's full of hills before, but because of the fast urban development, everything has to be raised out completely in order to build quickly and efficiently. So there are only a few places in the entire city look like this. There are still remains of the original landscape, hills. So we got this site and we decided, okay, maybe we can improve that. So architects play an active role in the negotiation process with the developer and the government. So we suggested to do this park in a way that actually the developer right next to it owns the piece of land, but according to law, he cannot build on it. So it's empty. So let's do the business, right? So we build a park invested by the government, but at the same time, we give the developer an underground parking garage with 50 cars. So the developer owns the garage, but all above belongs to public. So it opens up a route going up to the bigger mountain behind. So it's totally for the public. So what we did is actually we raised up, there's the 20-meter drop in elevation. So we raised up a bit by bit, so it becomes a tourist garden. Underneath is the parking garage. So in the Chinese gardens, you see all these kind of climbing up galleries. So we took that as a basic typology and developed it. So we developed this this gallery along the worst side. So basically, you walk along this over 100-meter long gallery. You climb up 20 meters without looking at this ugly housing development. But you look at the remains of the little hill. So it becomes part of the garden. And then you climb up and you experience the different kind of views and landscape. So things like this is very small, but improves the public access to the mountain and to the park. So we keep doing all these things. So a lot of our projects you can see are not in the beautiful site. It's in the most crazy and ugly and chaotic places. Things like these, we do like almost every year, small installations, urban parks, right? And come to this area. This is the second area I'm looking at. It's called Huaqiangbei, which was a factory area before, but it's spontaneously becoming a commercial area. Now it's become the biggest shopping area in the entire city. But the problem came because the original factories were gradually put down by the developers. And you see big shopping malls and all these high-rise towers are coming in. So first of all, we thought it's really interesting to keep some of the existing urban fabric and try to improve. Instead of raise the whole thing down, we can do renovations. Maybe instead of building new things, we can renovate existing sort of the bar-like buildings like these to make it a new look and new function, but still keeping the same kind of fabric. The reason is that because of the factory area, they all have these parallel buildings. So the business doesn't really develop along one street. It actually becomes a network. So we think that keeping this network is important. So we show this to the government and say, okay, just by doing individual buildings like this, and we can completely change the appearance of this very old industrial area. So this is a little design hotel we do. And the other one is that this building really is hidden inside all these high-rise, high-density developments. You don't see that building from the outside, but it actually functions as an infrastructural building. So it contains a multi-level parking garages, and it contains retail offices on the ground floor and second floor, and it contains a hotel on the very top. So it's a very mixed hybrid program. And also it have different arms at different levels to connect all the existing buildings surrounding. It becomes something, a device that activates everything kind of surrounding it. So the building is under construction. And we did the statistics that we found that people are crossing the site every day is about 200,000 per day. So it's a large amount of people. So we cut this big hole right in the middle, and we built this system of bridges to allow people to pass the building, to go into the retail, and to go to the every other levels. And also you see this difficult thing. We have to keep one of the existing buildings intact and even keep their business. So the building has to bridge over the existing building. So the structurally is also a big challenge. So next, we're going to go to the center, CBD. Today, I think everybody heard a lot of CBDs. This is very Chinese. It's really not a Chinese concept, but it is the most adopted and fully exploited urban typology in the Chinese city. So you see this is the Futian CBD back in 98, 04, and this is right now. You see Ramkuha's stock exchange is right there, right? Okay, so you see this picture, this is New York, right? So the right one is Shenzhen. Can you believe that? It looks very similar, right? But if you look at the plan, you see the problem. So in New York, you have very dense street system, right? In Shenzhen, it's not, you can see a very clear urban fabric. So that is the big problem, right? Okay. So getting closer, you have, of course, this is a very Chinese design. You have a central axis, you have civic center, you have all these major public buildings, and you have a great empty space right in the front, like that. It's so huge. It's 600 meters by 600 meters empty plaza. And the boulevard right across in the middle, so people, there's no way for people to cross over. We always thought that Tiananmen Square is the world's biggest square, right? Actually, it's not. We proved it. This is bigger, right? So then there comes a team with OMA plus Urbanus. So we formed the team, and we won the competition in the redesign of this central place. So we decided to create a system. Shenzhen right now is building the high-speed train linking to Hong Kong and Beijing. So it only takes about 15 minutes to Hong Kong after its completion. It's right there underneath this area. And also there are 4 subway stations plus a regional train station. So everything underneath. There are numerous developments and shopping malls surrounding. So we decided underneath to connect all of them, to create a network of pedestrian connectors. And then above ground, we also create a system connectors. So this is the underground. You see this is a big underground fast train station, the high-speed train, another station here, and all the surrounding developments. So we created all these streets. And above, we activated this empty plaza with clusters of village-like buildings and programs. So we mix it with a lot of different things. And then we decided the competition also calls for a landmark. We decided not to do a physical landmark. Instead, we do a space, an information center, a space that everybody cross over every day by connecting all the underground commercial and other facilities. So it becomes a very active space with cultural programs and infrastructural elements, convention and information. So the biggest landmark the city we give them, is the biggest circle. It's a pedestrian bridge with some kind of a travelator. And also we have the big, what we call eye, the Shenzhen eye in the middle. So it becomes a horizontal landmark, a infrastructural elements in the city. Sometimes the eye opens, right? Okay, let's move further west. Cultural injection, because Shenzhen has always been looked at by all the Chinese cities as a cultural desert, because it's so young, right? No culture at all. And now the city is very anxious to make itself into a cultural city. So we are part of that. This factory area contains 150,000 square meters of factories before. Starting 2004, Urbanus is involved in the strategy, research, planning, and design of this entire area. So we do it bit by bit by improving the infrastructure, doing the public space, and to do the program. So gradually this place becomes kind of like here, the Straka, right? It has the industrial feeling, this kind of public spaces, artistic installations, and even the mural work. We curated that. We invited important mural artists from all over the world to contribute to the installation. And now it becomes a very important active cultural venue. It has markets, it has school programs, it's a lot of designers, artists, and various different people, especially young people, come all over the city. They gathered here. So the city all of a sudden have some kind of a culture, right? Now we come to the office buildings, the commercial, the government office. It's a very small building we just finished about a year ago. It's a marriage registration center. It's a very interesting building program. So in traditional Chinese wedding is a ceremony. It's a very kind of ceremonial. But nowadays, people spend their wedding ceremony in the restaurants, like in the right side, right? But unfortunately, the registration process becomes super boring, right? So in this kind of environment, I'm not sure if people like to get married, right? And it looks like a bank. You are called in numbers. Right? And you go there without any privacy, and you talk to people like bankers, and you get married all of a sudden. Right? You get your license and you go in your business. So the site is quite boring as well. So it's very nothing really interesting about it. But we decided to say, okay, maybe we can make this little office building a bit interesting. We try to create kind of a ceremonial sequence like this. We built a little building at the very top, and then we leave a large space for public gatherings, a little pavilion at the other end. So the whole sequence is actually you gathered at the pavilion, and you kind of walk on the water and go into the building. You get registered, and then you get your photos taken, and you go upstairs. So it's kind of like a little church, but you know, in China, there's no real religious purpose. So it's still an office building, right? And then you go upstairs and you get your license, so-called. But the problem is people get divorced and it has to go into the same place. So we found that's kind of problematic. We thought maybe we should open the back door, right? So people don't see each other. And later the client doesn't like it. They said, we have to treat people the same. So in the end, the buildings look like this, right? You have the pavilion at the front, and you have the main building. You cross the bridge, and you enter this space. It's kind of soft, like Ma Яньсун's building, right? It's kind of soft, curvy, but only for this type of purpose. Strong color, and you wait here. Wow, there's a lot of people want to get married. It's crowded. Okay, another thing we changed, the program. We get rid of the counter like a bank, right? So we use the little VIP room. Typically, people use in the Chinese restaurant. The little VIP, so you have personal service, only a couple facing a staff. And then once you get done, you walk upstairs, you have the natural light, and you wait on the second level. I mean, this level is a little bit higher, so you get ready and make sure you want to enter this door. You can still have some hesitation right now, right? And after you decided, okay, walk in, and in this space, you have to make sure this is the right person that you want to get married. So you get photos taken under the very serious Chinese symbol. And I'm very glad to see that it becomes a public space. So outside, the space is always crowded. I don't know why there are so many children here. That's the result of marriage, which is also good. So last we talked about the kind of Chineseness. Everybody talk about Chineseness. This is a housing project that we did. It involves shanshui, it involves mountains, right? So this is the way that the Asian Chinese build. They never build buildings on top of the mountains. They learn how to treat the mountains, make the buildings kind of modest enough. Okay. So the building situates between the kind of industrial setting and the villas above the hill. So you see, this is the kind of situation we build every day. We build towers like this, right? And sometimes maybe we can think about something different, right? Why not the building can respond to the mountain a little bit more? So the building kind of zigzagged in order to preserve the big trees on the site. So it responds to the scale. On one hand is big, because it has to make a dialogue with all the factory buildings. On the other hand is small inside. So there's a little design hotel on the very front, like this. So the facade are different. It becomes like a rock at the back and the cliff in the front. And gradually you come into this central courtyard. This has water. You have secondary courtyards, and you have smaller buildings. So make your way to home a layered, a hierarchy kind of experience. So you have all the different kind of courtyards. So this is what we did. So the building kind of responds to the landscape better. Another project I want to show you, which is the last architectural project. Okay, this is the Tulo project. Is a housing for the low-income community that we designed in Shenzhen. This project happens at a time where the average salary of an average Chinese young people can never afford the mortgage, right that time. So from that time, around 2005, the Chinese young people can never afford a commercial housing. So these are the commercial sort of housing development that we see every day in China. So here comes the idea of something alternative. So these are the kind of urban typologies used in the rural areas, which has been there for more than 500 years. 300 years. So it's a prevailing housing typology. It's a collective housing type in Fujian and Guangdong province in South China. So it looked like this. It's a collective housing along the perimeter with a second layer or even a shrine or ancestor hall in the middle. So it's both a community center and a spiritual center. So if you look at closer, you see that each individual unit is very small. But because of it's small, a lot of the family activities has to be extended to the corridors, to the public space. I think that's something that interests us and also the developer. So the developer is called Wang Ke, is the leading developer in China, and they decided to study. This was not a real project at all. It's a research project. So they gave us the opportunity to study the possibilities to transfer similar sort of spatial condition into a workable dormitory type housing. So we did all this research, studying the density, the diameter, the spatial quality, whatever. And we developed a couple of typologies. For example, like this one, the Tulo project, built of dirt on top of a shopping mall. So we started to do all these beautiful renderings and study the possibilities and the different housing typologies. And study how it could be used, how it could be composed in relation to other similar buildings. And we use that as a project in the Shenzhen Biennale. So we invite the public to pick up sites for Tulo in Shenzhen. So that's the result. It's everywhere. So actually the Tulo colonizes the city, sometimes in the Hong Kong-Shenzhen border, sometimes in the cross-section, sometimes in the lake. So we tested all the possibilities of its locations. Then someday the developer decided to do an experiment, see how that works. How the collective housing in today's China, where everybody talk about individualism and private property instead of collectiveness, how that would function. You can see how closely it locates near the middle class communities. So that's Tulo. It is not a solid kind of castle anymore. It becomes porous. It allows ventilation to go in and at the same time keep privacy for each individual units. So it's not just a housing unit. It contains a little hotel. It contains public functions at the bottom, the bicycle parking, and units. And also we use different colors for different zoning because we found it's too difficult to orient yourself in the round building, right? So we use very strong colors. So these are the compositions. Each unit is very small, ranging from 30 square meters and up. So, so to the left is a photo we shot just after completion. I like the right photo better. It's not the boring architectural photo. It's full of life. Right? And it's still an experiment. It's not really just a product. So after that, the building gets built. So we keep following it. We did the research. We interviewed a lot of people. We filmed these occupants. They come from every corner of China. And they like this place, and it becomes a real community. They form this weekly or monthly cleaning, so everybody know everybody in this space. They are happy. A lot of the places that they use the public space for some of the extension of their life inside. So it's an interesting experiment, I would say. Okay, that's a Lego project. So the very last, I'll spend another 5 minutes to talk about the recent research. The research of urban village in the city has been going on for many years. We started in 2006. The so-called urban village in Shenzhen is a big urban phenomenon. So the city was swallowed up by the fast urban development. About 6 million people living in those enclosed urban clusters like this, extremely dense urban condition. So these are some of the shots. I'll go very quickly. So we studied all the kind of habitat, living conditions within the village. So the typical way of solving this urban problem is quite simple. Tabula rasa, get rid of it. So that's what's happening right now. So what problem is that the people like these people, the service people, the so-called low-income community, will have to be driven out of the city completely. So what happened a lot of time, you see this very vibrant community all of a sudden becomes like this, empty, deserted. So we come up with ideas how to improve and make these urban clusters comply with the current building code, the safety issues, but at the same time providing enough public service and community spaces. So we come up with proposals of all different kinds for all these years. And in 2007, we involved in a project in this particular village, which called Dafen. The village is very unique because it has a business because they produce in large scale the oil painting replications and export it to the entire world. So the whole village has a business development. So this particular village is interesting because we want to use that as an example to see how the government involvement can actually activate, improve the village instead of getting rid of it. In that situation, we built this gigantic museum slash cultural center in the middle of this village, and try to use that as a powerhouse to energize or activate the village, its perimeter. So in 2010, as the chief curator of the Shenzhen Pavilion in Shanghai Expo, Urbanists have the opportunity to organize and curate large public events like this inside the village. So 500 painting workers or artisans work on this gigantic oil painting installation piece, and we shipped it to Shanghai together with a multimedia installation, and we showed to the entire world the urban village problem. We're not trying to beautify the city, the great achievement of the city have done, but we point out it's a problem. And we try to let the government to see and understand how this problem can be cured by themselves. Right? So we show that. And after that, we curated our large artistic events. For example, like this International Mural Festival. So we invited international artists together with local artists to work on the museum. So the museum becomes part of these events. So all these artists have their work. Even those very poor local artists have a chance to involve in the painting. So this is what's happening right now, what we call the aftermath research. Very quickly, these are the current conditions of these urban villages. But very soon, they will become like this, right? These are the plans. So we're working on one of these very large urban villages located to the west of Shenzhen. You can see the condition right now. So we are researching on possible alternative ways to develop. Even if these villages has to be raised out, we are afraid that it will totally lose the kind of urban fabric and also the kind of social structure in the process. So these are the plans. Okay, we have to keep this a secret, not putting it on the internet, right? So this is the first time showing in public. So this is a project designed by a very famous three-letter American architecture firm. A very nice, organized, but unrelated, I think, to the site. The site we found contains 5 villages, and they all interconnected somehow. So we propose to keep the southern part and improve the public infrastructure and public elements, improve by adding and partially demolition and gradually change the entire village into a more livable space. But for the north part, instead of doing a monolithic planning, we try to do it in different zones, and they overlap somehow to create different textures responding to different needs of different amount of people. So the whole sites, the idea is the developer has to build more than 5 million square meters of buildings in order to make profits. That's a very crazy number. So for the local farm, well, this is a long story, but I will cut it short. For the farmers or the landlords who own the buildings, they have to be up in the air, in the sky. But how? They still can live somehow in their own community. They can have their own lifestyle somehow still preserved in this kind of a sky city setting. And also for the young professional sort of class, they have their own specific needs. So we manipulated this three-letter American firms projects into something like this to satisfy the needs of all these different people. And we create another cluster as the kind of cultural zone, preserving the existing buildings and the surrounding buildings and manipulating the urban space and adding more cultural programs. In order to do that, we have to put a lot of square meters somehow, somewhere, right? So we come up with the idea to create this kind of a sky city concept. So we have to put more than 1 million square meters in one gigantic cluster of building or urban substance. So in the end, it becomes a super dense urban cluster, but in very different scale and in very different program and typology. So this is still in the process of new development. So I just want to show the kind of current condition of this research. Is not, I'm not quite sure if we're going to be succeeded or not, but we are still in the negotiation with the developer, with the government, and try to persuade them to do a more diverse and hybrid sort of city clusters, even in that kind of a scale, instead of a monumental, monolithic planning area. So this is still in the process. Thank you very much.